Hello there. If you care for someone with dementia, you know that just trying to communicate can feel like walking through a minefield. It is so frustrating, it's confusing, and let's be honest, it can be absolutely heartbreaking. So today, we're going to explore a totally different path. One that shifts our goal from trying to correct what's wrong to connecting with the person who is right there in front of us. Okay, let's get into it.
Does this sound painfully familiar? Your loved one says something that, in our world, makes absolutely no sense. And our first instinct, our gut reaction, is to jump in with the facts. But, as I'm sure you've learned the hard way, this almost always just spirals into an argument, or defensiveness, or just plain anger. So, why does this keep happening? And what can we possibly do differently?
Well, the first and most crucial step is to completely reframe the situation. The real problem isn't what they're saying. The problem is that we are living in two completely different realities. And the conflict? It ignites the very second we try to pull them out of their reality and force them into ours.
See, for a person with dementia, their reality isn't some fantasy. It's just what's real. When they say they need to get to work or that they haven't eaten all day, that is their absolute truth in that moment. It's as real to them as the chair you're sitting in. So when we correct them, it doesn't make things clearer. To them, it feels like we're calling them a liar, or even worse, that we think they're crazy. It's confusing, it's hurtful, and it just shatters trust.
So, keeping that in mind, let's walk through 7 really common communication roadblocks. Now, these are not mistakes to feel guilty about, not at all. They are completely natural, human instincts. The only issue is, they're instincts that were designed for our reality, not theirs.
So our first roadblock is probably the most common one and the one that's hardest to fight, directly contradicting them.
And just insisting on our version of what's real. Just look at the difference here. The don't say column, that's a brick wall. It's an argument you are never, ever going to win. But look at the try saying column. That validates their feeling and joins them in their world. Asking about work opens up a conversation. Offering to get breakfast ready addresses the feeling of hunger they're trying to tell you about. You're building a bridge, not a wall.
Okay, next up, a roadblock that usually comes from a place of fear or panic, forcefully correcting an action.
Without ever stopping to figure out the why behind it. The key here is to become a detective. If they're trying to eat something they shouldn't, the root cause is probably just hunger. So instead of yelling stop, which is really just shaming, we can redirect. Offering a real snack meets the need that their action was trying to express, but you're doing it in a safe and dignified way.
Our third roadblock tends to pop up when our own frustration just boils over, and we fall back on using force or threats or just making demands.
To try and force them to do something. When someone refuses to take a bath, our first instinct might be to pull rank, but that just creates resentment and fear. Instead, if you just get curious, you might solve the whole mystery. Maybe the water's too hot. Maybe they're afraid of falling. Asking why respectfully can get you the real reason, and then you can actually solve it together.
Oh boy, this next one, I think every single one of us is guilty of this, especially when we're short on time.
We rush them. As dementia progresses, tasks that used to be second nature now take a huge amount of concentration. So when we hurry them along, we're basically sending a message without words, you're slow, you're a burden. And that can absolutely crush their confidence and make them not even want to try. Building in extra time and just being patient isn't just about being kind, it's actually essential for helping them hold on to the skills they still have.
And that leads us perfectly into our fifth roadblock, which is blaming or belittling them.
When they make a mistake. Questions like, why would you do that? Aren't real questions, are they? They're accusations, and they just chip away at a person's self-esteem. Now, what I love about the alternatives here is how they completely change the game. They assume good intentions, they show appreciation, and they even share the responsibility. This protects their dignity and makes them a partner, not a problem.
All right, number 6. Now this one is tricky because it so often comes from a place of love, but it can be just as damaging.
It's taking over tasks they can still do. I know, of course, it's faster and easier to just do it ourselves, but when we do that, we rob them of something so vital, their sense of purpose. That feeling of being needed, of being useful, that's essential for everyone's well-being. A much better approach is to share the task, or to just hang back and observe, ready to step in only if it's truly necessary.
And finally, our 7th roadblock, and I'll be honest, this one might actually surprise you.
It's giving too much encouragement. How on earth could that be a bad thing?
Well, when someone is already painfully aware of what they can't do anymore, hearing "you can do it, try harder" over and over can feel like an enormous amount of pressure. It actually shines a giant spotlight on their inability to do the task, which just ramps up their anxiety. Instead, just acknowledging their effort and thanking them for helping is so much more powerful and validating.
Okay, so we have covered a lot about what not to do. So let's flip this around and look at 5 simple, proactive things you can do every single day to build those bridges of connection. Think of this as your practical, daily toolkit.
And these keys are so beautifully simple. First, listen to understand. Don't just wait for your turn to talk. Second, match their pace, both in how you move and how you speak. Third, get down to their eye level. This is such a huge sign of respect. Fourth, speak slowly and clearly. And finally, number 5, stay calm. Their emotional intelligence is often still there long after their memory fades. They will feel your anger, even if they don't understand your words.
So when you look at all of these roadblocks and all of these keys, they all point to one single, powerful shift in your mindset. It's about changing your goal. You are no longer trying to win an argument about what is factually true. You are trying to win a moment of peace, a moment of trust, a moment of connection.
If you take only one thing away today, please let it be this: connection over correction. Every single interaction is a choice. You can choose to be right, or you can choose to be connected. Let this simple little phrase be your guide, your North Star, through those really difficult moments. So as we wrap up, I just want to leave you with this question to carry with you. Thinking about your day, what's one small thing you could do differently? What is one bridge you could build today? The person on the other side is waiting for you.